Losing 40 pounds in 12 weeks is definitely possible, but most people who succeed with it put every single pound back within a year, and sometimes they end up even heavier than when they started. Behind me on this wall there are 25 people. Now, 3, sometimes even 5 years later, 22 of them are still in the same or better shape. None of them lost 40 pounds in 12 weeks. Most of them lost 1 to 2 pounds per week for 10 to 26 weeks. That is the number that is actually sustainable. But I know that is not always the answer people want. So in this video, I'm going to show you exactly how to lose 40 pounds in 12 weeks, and more importantly, in a way that allows you to keep it off as well. The 2 graphs that nobody explains to you. Before you touch your diet or your gym schedule, you need to understand 2 things that will completely change how you approach this. The first is what I call the freedom versus progress graph. The more freedom you are willing to sacrifice, the more progress you will make. If you locked yourself in a room for 12 weeks, never saw your friends, ate nothing but white fish and greens, and did cardio every spare hour you had, a large male could genuinely lose 40 pounds in that window quite easily. The math works. The problem is that almost nobody actually wants to live like that, and even if you did, your life outside that room has not changed at all, so the moment you step back into it, all the weight comes back with it. Our second graph is the sustainability versus progress graph. Small changes are easy to keep but move the needle slowly. Drastic changes move the needle fast, but they tend to collapse as soon as your life gets complicated. The person who gets in shape by doing 3 hours of cardio every single day is the same person who gains it all back the moment a busy quarter hits and those 3 hours disappear. They were not getting fit, they were just temporarily forcing a lifestyle that they couldn't sustain. And here's where it gets interesting. The real opportunity is not at any of the extremes of these graphs. It's in finding the changes that feel small but make a difference. Things that are easy to implement and still produce a dramatic result. That is where real lasting progress lives, and finding it for your specific life is what makes the difference between a 12-week result and a result that sticks for years. And if you're a busy professional who wants to lose real weight without batch cooking on Sundays or living out of a Tupperware box, that is exactly the kind of person that we work with at Catalyst. The link is in the description if you want to take a look. Now back to it. Why most plans fail before they even start. Most people, when they go looking for help with fat loss, end up with a plan that manages to get everything backwards. They get to a plan that is hard to implement and doesn't even produce a result. Think about what the average high street personal trainer or nutritionist tends to prescribe. Train 4 or 5 times a week, do cardio 1 or 2 more times on top of that, batch cook every Sunday, carry Tupperware to the office, cut carbs for months. None of these things are easy to sustain, and half of them don't actually move the needle as much either. The effort is high, the payoff is underwhelming. And no wonder that people think that getting in shape is difficult. The reason this matters is because the goal is not to find the hardest possible version of a plan. The goal is to find the biggest lever that costs the least in terms of effort and lifestyle disruption. For example, if you're someone who eats a lot of olive oil, aka every Spanish and Italian person ever, simply measuring your olive oil intake out and limiting it to 10 grams is the kind of change that produces a dramatic result in a matter of weeks without it requiring you restructuring your entire life. But olive oil is very high in calories and it's easy to overeat on it, so most people wildly underestimate how many calories they intake from it. It's a lever with very high impact. Every person has a version of this lever. The art of our job is finding these high output levers for each of our clients. The 4 things that actually get you there. Now that you accepted what it costs to lose 40 pounds in 12 weeks and you still want to do it, here's exactly what needs to happen. The first thing is, I seem to love graphs today, so let's start by building what I call a fun per calorie matrix. Look at all the foods that you eat most often and score them on 2 axes. How high they are in calories and how much you actually enjoy eating them. So you end up with 4 quadrants. High calorie, high fun foods are things that you love, but they come at a cost. You can have these sometimes, not every day, but occasionally yes, because even though they don't help you very much, you do love them. High calorie, low fun foods are your worst enemy You don't like them, they don't help. Nobody needs to eat cream spinach at a restaurant if they don't like it. Tastes poo-poo, very high in calories. Low-calorie, low-fun foods are the boring but functional ones. Many of your meals will live here, and that is just reality. Boring, repeatable meals that tick the progress box. But the category that is most important to you is the low-calorie, high-fun. If you find something that you genuinely love eating, that is also helping you progress, it is your duty to utilize it as much as you can. One client at Catalyst has 450 grams of fat-free yogurt with blueberries every single day. He loves yogurt, he loves blueberries, the meal keeps him on track and is getting him closer to the goal. Find your variation of a high-fun, low-calorie meal, and if you can find anything there, use it constantly. The second thing that will help you lose a lot of weight in a short amount of time frame is finding sneaky activity. Most people make this way harder than it needs to be. They don't enjoy running, but they force themselves to get up at 5 a.m. and run. They don't like swimming, but they sign up for swim sessions that they never actually attend. There is no specific cardio that is superior to anything else. If you play football and you enjoy football, just play more football. If you like walking, walk more. The activity that actually takes place is infinitely more valuable than the activity that you keep intending to do. A standing desk with a walking pad is also worth considering seriously. For about $700, it will do more for your daily output and long-term health than most structured cardio routines or health investments. The third thing is stressing only about what you can actually control. There is a version of the serenity prayer that applies perfectly here. It goes, God, give me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. People will agonize over one restaurant dinner per month with their friends while their daily eating from Monday to Friday is totally out of control. If you have 28 meals in a week and 3 of them are at restaurants, the restaurant meals are not your issue. The problem is your other 25 meals. Control the things you have full control over and let the uncontrollable meals be what they are, and have the wisdom to recognize the difference. The fourth and last thing is measuring honestly. Your mind will tell you a story about how well you're doing that doesn't always match the data. Weigh yourself every day. If you are not losing roughly 2 to 2.5 pounds per week and you want to be, something in your plan needs to change. Every single week you look at the result. If progress took place, you work out how to repeat it, and if there was no progress, you identify what needs adjusting. So the data can tell you the truth instead of trying to make progress based on vibes. Those 4 things are the whole system, but knowing what to do and having someone make sure it actually fits your life are 2 very different things. If you want the latter, we are in the description. Now, let me wrap this up. The number that actually matters. Here's the honest version of all of this. You can lose 40 pounds in 12 weeks. The structure exists, the math works, and the 4 things above will get you there if you apply them fully. But the clients behind me on this wall, the 22 people who are still in the same shape 3 or more years later, almost none of them did it that way. They moved at a sustainable 1 to 2 pounds per week. They kept their social life, they didn't batch cook, they did not live in the gym, and because their process was built around their actual life rather than a temporary sprint, it held. The 12-week result is attractive. But the question is what the picture looks like at week 52 or 3 years from now. The plan that gets you there is the plan worth building. If you want to actually do this and do it in a way that does not require you turning your life into a project for 3 months, that is what Catalyst is built for. Busy professionals, frequent travelers, people who eat out several times a week and have no interest in Tupperware. The whole approach is designed around 3 sessions per week in the gym, flexible nutrition that works around your actual meals and lifestyle, and the kind of ongoing support that guides you through the toughest of weeks. The link is in the description if you want to find out more. But whatever you decide, take just one thing from this video. The plan that works is not the most painful one. It is the one that you can actually keep going with when life gets in the way, because life always gets in the way. Find your big lever, control what you can control, measure what matters. That is how the 22 people behind me did it, and that is how you should too.